to wrap up with the streetcar. I know it's controversial. The first thing people, and I know what people think because I've talked to people in Omaha when they did their streetcar. We've extensively studied streetcar. I would tell you it's not a mass transit play. It is an economic development tool like nothing I've ever seen in my life. We've been to, between Brandon and I, 15 cities, and every one of them, the exact same thing happens. They build the streetcar system. Multifamily housing developers build housing around the streetcar system because it's an amenity that nobody else can provide. And it gets them tenants. And then businesses that service that increasing tenant base grow up around the streetcar. And I know people look at our bus system, they see two people riding a bus, they say, Matt, you're nuts. If you want to put mass transit in, nobody rides a bus. Who the hell's going to ride a streetcar? But I'm telling you, it's an economic development tool. And once it's there, it creates ridership on the streetcar. In these multi-family apartments, you can get up in the morning, hop on the streetcar, go over to Lady Park, take in a yoga class, go to Early Bird for breakfast, and be back home by 11. And that's very attractive to young people. I think the estimate was at $5 billion, maybe in potential development on West Broadway. And people say, well, you said 22 billion or 22 million in tax revenue. That's not the valuation. I don't remember what the valuation was. $5 billion on West Broadway in investment in property, not tax revenue. Those are guesses. Well, as I said, with the 22 million at Dodge Park, what are they offering? What if it's only 11 million? We made $33,000 each of the last 2 years at the golf course. What if it's 5 million? What if they're only 25% right? You know, what if it's 5.5 million? It doesn't take very long to do the math on that. So it's unfortunate. The streetcar is not a done deal. We were gifted something that most people don't have. In Omaha, for their streetcar, we're the real expensive. Same thing true in Kansas City. We went to Kansas City, $100 million a mile for streetcar. What? You know what the cost is? They have to tear up the street and put the track in, but underneath the street is city infrastructure. They don't want to just pave the street, put the track in, and then have a water line break or have the gas company have to come in. So they put in all new infrastructure underneath there so that doesn't happen. That's where the cost is. And theirs was 100 million a mile. Omaha streetcar is 3 miles long. MUD, which is gas and water in Omaha. OPPD does the electric. Just MUD told Omaha the cost of replacement for $125 million for their infrastructure for 3 miles. So they're over 100 million a mile. Many years ago, I say our forefathers were not the most creative people. Everything north of Broadway is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Everything south of Broadway is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 was First Avenue. It's an old rail line that served the industrial users on the west end of Council Bluffs. Ran through TJ's, if you remember, TJ's campus. It was between the high school and the auxiliary building where the gym is, where the kids smoke. Warren Weber, who was the principal of TJ, told me that those smokers that stood on the rail line, he called TJ's track team. So the rail line no longer provides the There's no industrial users on the west end. They no longer provide services. They gave the city back that First Avenue. There is a city storm sewer line in that. There are no other utilities. We don't have to pay to move all those utilities. So we've got a gift that nobody else has. We put in the bike trail, if you've been on the First Avenue bike trail, and some of those rest areas, next time you're there, look, they're 35th or 32nd or 27th or 25th. Someday they could be streetcar stops, and we intentionally did that. Brandon intentionally did that, so, and Iowa West intentionally did that. We potentially could do it.